It's funny. We used to think falling in love with an AI was just sci-fi, like that movie, Her.
Oh, yeah.
But now the lines are getting kind of blurry.
They really are.
Especially with all these articles you all sent in.
So many articles.
You want to know how AI is really changing how we connect?
Absolutely.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's unpack what's happening.
Like, are we all going to be falling in love with our computers soon?
Well, it's interesting because we're past the point of future possibilities.
Right.
I mean, AI companions are already out there.
That's true.
And they're already creating some strong attachments.
Like what?
Well, there are people who say their replica chatbot is their best friend.
Whoa.
Their confidant.
Really?
Some even say their therapist.
Okay, so replica, this
Yeah.
is like a digital diary that talks back to you.
Exactly.
The articles say it's like a judgment-free space,
Mm.
for people who maybe have a hard time opening up.
Yeah,
Which I guess makes sense.
it does.
But then you've got Xiaois, and that goes even further.
It does.
Like it's designed for romantic connections.
Yeah.
Can AI even simulate love?
And that's the big question.
Where's the line between an algorithm and an actual emotion?
Right, that's the crux of it.
Yeah.
Both of these are designed to learn from us.
Oh, wow.
So the more you talk to them, the better they get
Interesting.
at like mimiking human responses.
So it seems like they're really listening to you.
Yeah, they can even offer comfort, encouragement, things that sound empathetic.
Yeah.
But let's be real.
Okay.
They're just mimicking based on patterns.
Oh.
They're not actually feeling them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can't just replicate inside jokes
Right.
or years of shared experiences
Exactly.
that build a real bond. Like imagine relying on an AI during a tough time.
Yeah.
It might say the right things,
Uh-huh.
but would it really understand?
Probably not in the same way.
The way someone who's been through something similar would...
Exactly. And think about the ethics of it all.
Oh, yeah.
What happens when someone gets really attached to an AI that's programmed to like reciprocate affection? Are we setting people up for heartbreak?
Or worse.
Preventing them from looking for real connections?
It's a good point. Like
Yeah.
maybe relying on AI for emotional support could make us more isolated
If possible.
in the long run.
Yeah.
But even outside these companion apps,
Yeah.
AI is already part of how we talk every day.
Yeah.
Like natural language processing.
That's a big one.
It's making chatbots seem way less robotic,
Right.
more human.
It is. NLP is huge right now.
Yeah.
It combines computational linguistics with machine learning.
Wow.
You've got things like sentiment analysis,
Okay.
where the AI is trying to understand the emotions behind what you're saying.
Interesting.
And then intent recognition, where it's trying to figure out what you're trying to do with your words.
That's pretty wild.
It is impressive,
Yeah.
even if it's not perfect yet.
It makes you wonder what's next. Like, will we even be able to tell if we're talking to a human or an AI?
I mean, that's a real possibility.
And if we can't,
Yeah.
does it even matter?
That's a good question.
The articles also mention AI translation,
Oh, yeah, that's a game changer.
like breaking down barriers between cultures.
Absolutely.
Imagine talking to anyone in the world
Wow.
in real time.
Without even thinking about the language.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
definitely appealing.
It is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But I do think about the downsides, too.
Oh, like what?
Will we lose the art of communication?
Oh.
The nonverbal cues,
Right.
if we rely on AI too much.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
It's like using GPS all the time.
How so?
You might get there faster,
Okay.
but you miss out on all the little things along the way.
I see what you mean.
But AI goes even further.
It does.
It can analyze our emotions.
Yeah. Through things like sentiment analysis.
Like reading our tone, even facial expressions.
It can.
Part of me thinks that's so cool.
Yeah.
But part of me is kind of freaked out.
I get it.
It's a double-edged sword.
For sure.
On one hand, imagine an AI that could stop you from sending a bad text.
Oh, like if it thinks you sound angry.
Exactly.
Or sarcastic.
That could prevent so many misunderstandings.
Yeah. But on the other hand,
Huh?
are we going to become so reliant on AI to read emotions for us that we forget how to do it ourselves?
That's the danger.
That's like outsourcing our emotional intelligence.
Algorithms.
And speaking of algorithms,
Oh, yeah.
let's talk about dating.
Okay.
Can AI really play Cupid?
Ooh, that's a good one. And help us find love.
I mean, AI dating apps?
Like Tinders.
Right.
They already use algorithms
They
to
use-
suggest matches
Based on your preferences.
and its swiping patterns.
Right.
So is that any different than a friend setting you up? Or are we giving algorithms way too much power?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I think to answer it, we have to look at what algorithms can and can't do.
Okay.
They're great at finding patterns. So they might see compatibility things that we miss. But love,
Right.
that's different.
Yeah.
It's about so much more than shared interests
Totally.
or demographics.
Exactly.
Can an algorithm predict that spark?
Bit of chemistry.
Yeah, I have my doubts.
Me too.
It's like trying to reduce this complex human emotion down to data points.
You're always going to miss something.
You are.
So are we heading towards a future where algorithms decide who we date?
Wow.
Who we're friends with?
Who we connect with.
Is that something we're okay with?
It's a lot to think about.
What do you think? Could you trust an algorithm to find your perfect match?
I don't know.
I'm not so sure I could.
It's good to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Maybe AI should just help us in our search,
Okay.
not replace the human part altogether.
I like that.
But even then,
Yeah.
there are implications.
Like-
You sent some articles about filter bubbles.
Oh, right.
That's a perfect example of how AI can shape our online world.
In ways we don't even realize.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like being stuck in an echo chamber,
Yes.
where you only see stuff that agrees with you.
It's all thanks to those social media algorithms.
They are sneaky.
They learn what we like,
Wow.
and then they just give us more of the same.
It sounds good in theory,
Right.
but
It's limiting.
yeah, limits what we see.
Different viewpoints. It's
Yeah.
like living in a world where everyone agrees with you.
Exactly. On the surface, that might seem nice,
Right.
but it can cause problems.
Big problems.
Yeah.
Like, think about those political arguments online.
Yeah,
They get so heated.
they do.
People are so stuck in their own beliefs.
You can't even consider another side.
Exactly. Are we even having real conversations anymore?
That's a good question.
Or are we just talking past each other? Is
No.
AI making that worse?
It's possible.
It's kind of unsettling.
It
It really makes you think.
does. It raises a big question.
What's that?
Have we gotten so used to these echo chambers that we don't know how to disagree anymore?
Oh, that's a good one.
How do we break out of these filter bubbles
Right.
and see different viewpoints?
Because, let's be honest,
Okay.
real connection requires open-mindedness
Yes,
and seeing the world through someone else's eyes.
absolutely.
And speaking of blurring lines,
Okay.
let's talk about virtual influencers.
Oh, yeah, those are interesting.
Have you ever scrolled through Instagram
Sure.
and realized you're following someone who doesn't even exist?
Yeah, I've seen those.
That's AI
It is.
creating these digital people.
They look so real,
They do.
and they have tons of followers,
They influence trends.
just like real people.
It's crazy.
It is.
But it makes you think,
About what?
are we being manipulated by bots without even knowing it?
That's possible.
Where's the line between fun and deception?
That's the question we have to keep asking as AI gets more advanced.
These virtual influencers are getting so good.
They are. It's hard to tell them apart from real people.
I know, and they're not just posting selfies, they're endorsing products, promoting brands,
Right.
shaping culture.
It's a lot of influence.
But the problem is,
What is?
there's no transparency.
Oh, right.
We don't know who's behind them or what their agenda is.
Yeah.
Are they just trying to sell us stuff? Or are they pushing some kind of ideology?
That's a little scary.
It is. It's unsettling
Yeah.
to think we might be absorbing AI messages without realizing it.
That we're being influenced without knowing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the impact on how we see ourselves.
Oh, right.
These virtual influencers are like the ideal version of beauty.
Yeah, they're perfect.
Which just makes the pressure to fit in even worse.
It's like those old airbrush magazine covers, but amplified.
Tenfold.
Yeah.
So are virtual influencers harmless fun or a slippery slope to a world where nothing is real?
It's a tough one.
It is.
There are no easy answers.
I guess not.
I think we need to be critical and skeptical.
Yeah.
Just because something looks real
Right.
doesn't mean it is real.
And we need to be aware of manipulation.
Whether it's from a human or an AI.
Well said.
Thanks.
This has been a whirlwind tour of AI and connection.
It has.
And I think we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, we have.
But before we go deeper, let's take a minute to think about what we've learned.
Good idea.
So we've talked about AI companions.
Right, the ones that offer that simulated connection.
We talked about tools like natural language processing,
Changing how we communicate.
algorithms that are shaping our online world,
And virtual influencers.
blurring the lines between real and fake.
Yeah, it's clear that AI is changing how we connect.
And it's only going to get bigger.
It is.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to our own humanity.
I like that.
It makes us ask some tough questions.
Yeah.
What does it mean to connect?
In a world where algorithms control everything,
How do we make sure technology helps our connections?
instead of hurting them,
Big questions.
they are. And to answer them,
Yeah.
we need to go even deeper.
Into AI and human connection.
Exactly. It's interesting to think about how AI might change what intimacy even means.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about downsides of relying on AI companions
Right.
for like emotional support.
Mhm.
But what about the good stuff? Could these AI companions actually help us have better human relationships?
Interesting.
Like they're programmed to be patient,
Yeah.
non-judgmental.
You're always listening.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be appealing.
Right.
Especially for people who maybe have social anxiety or fear rejection.
It's like a safe space to practice.
To explore your feelings without any real consequences.
Exactly. But could that AI intimacy actually work in real life?
With real people.
Yeah, in the messy world of human relationships,
I don't know.
it's possible. Think of it like training
For what?
for emotional intelligence.
Oh, okay.
You practice empathy and vulnerability with an AI, and then maybe you're more confident with real people.
Makes sense.
But, of course, there's the other side.
Oh, the downsides.
Yeah, what if people get too used to the perfect attention of an AI,
Right.
and then they can't connect with real humans?
With all our flaws.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what worries me.
It's a valid concern. Real intimacy takes vulnerability,
Yeah.
willingness to work through conflict.
It's messy.
It is. And AI can't really replicate that.
Not yet, anyway.
Right. So the question is,
Are we going to create a generation that prefers AI friends?
over messy human ones?
It's a scary thought.
It is. We already see people struggling to put their phones down.
I know, even in intimate settings.
Right. Imagine if people would rather talk to their AI.
Their partner or their family.
That's not good for strong relationships. But it's not a guarantee either.
Oh, really?
There's some research that suggests the opposite. That AI companions might make people more sensitive.
More in tune with other people's emotions.
Exactly. Both human and AI.
Right, really? That seems backwards.
I know it's counterintuitive.
How could hanging out with a machine make you better with real people?
It's still early, but
Yep.
the theory is that you're practicing
Practicing what?
empathy and emotional expression
Okay.
in a safe space.
With the AI.
Right. And then maybe you can use those skills in the real world.
So it's like training wheels for your emotions
Kind of like building those emotional muscles.
before you go out into the real world.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm still having a hard time with this whole AI connection thing.
I understand it's a big shift.
It feels like comparing a handwritten letter to a text.
Oh, I like that analogy.
They both get the message across,
Yeah.
but it's just not the same.
You're right. There's something special about connecting with a human.
That shared experience.
Someone who gets it.
Who feels things the same way you do?
AI can try to copy that.
But can it really feel it?
Can it understand those shared experiences?
The unspoken things, you know?
Yeah, that's the big question.
It is, are we headed for a future where AI runs our relationships?
And we're just left with these fake connections.
Or can we use AI to make our human bonds even stronger?
I think the second one is possible.
You do.
Think about the telephone.
Okay.
It changed communication forever,
It did.
but people still wanted to see each other face to face.
Sure.
AI can be like that
Like a tool to help us connect better?
without replacing the human part.
The key is using it wisely.
Exactly. We have to be mindful.
I like that AI can be a powerful force for good,
It can.
but we have to use it, right?
We do. But let's be real.
Okay.
There's a part of us that's still a little scared. We've seen those sci-fi movies.
Where the robots take over.
Right. Technology can have unintended consequences.
So how do we make sure AI doesn't go too far?
That it doesn't make us less human.
That's a good question.
I think it comes down to being involved
Involved in how?
in how AI is developed and used.
Okay.
We need to be asking tough questions
Like what?
about the ethics of it all.
Challenging assumptions.
Right. We can't just accept whatever they throw at us,
We need to be in charge of our own future.
our technological future.
And part of that is talking about it.
Having open conversation,
About the good and the bad of AI.
how it affects our relationships.
Our whole society.
Everyone needs to be part of this conversation.
Not just the tech people.
This isn't just about ones and zeros.
It's about the future of human connection.
Something that affects us all.
And as we go forward,
Yeah,
we need to remember that technology should serve us.
not the other way around.
Feels like we're at a crossroads, right?
We are.
We can either let AI shape our connections,
Or we take control,
steer it in the right direction.
align it with our values.
It's exciting
It is.
and a little scary.
Yeah, all at the same time.
It's a big shift in how we think about things.
It is. We need to go beyond just using technology,
Become more active,
shaping its development.
asking those tough questions.
Like, what kind of future do we want?
With AI,
How can we make sure it makes us more human,
more connected.
not less? So how do we do that?
How do we make sure AI is good for our relationships?
What does that even look like?
It starts with awareness.
Okay.
You need to learn about AI,
How it works,
how it's being used.
how it affects us,
The more we know,
the better choices we can make.
the tech we use,
Right, we can't just buy every new gadget that comes out.
we have to think about the data we're giving away.
The algorithms that are controlling what we see online.
What are the consequences for our relationships?
That's a lot to think about.
It is. And beyond that,
Okay.
we have to push for responsible AI development.
What does that mean?
Regulations that focus on ethics,
Transparent.
accountability,
Supporting companies that are doing it right.
using AI to make the world better. It sounds like a lot.
It is, but it's important.
If we want AI to help us.
Without losing our humanity.
But for all the bad stuff we've talked about,
Yeah.
AI could also be amazing for connection.
Absolutely. It has so much potential.
Imagine AI that could help us understand different cultures.
Breaking down those barriers.
Real-time translation.
Knowing the cultural norms.
Or AI platforms that could bring people together.
People with different opinions.
To have respectful conversations.
Building empathy instead of division.
Those are some pretty incredible possibilities.
AR.
And what about connecting with people who aren't here anymore?
Like, what do you mean?
Imagine talking to your grandparent
Who's passed away?
through AI that's learned their voice.
Their mannerisms.
Their stories.
A new kind of connection.
Beyond physical limits.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
But it comes back to that same point.
AI is a tool.
It can be used for good or bad.
It's up to us to decide.
As a society, how do we use this power?
We need to be thoughtful. Maybe even a little brave.
In shaping the future of AI,
And its role in our lives.
embrace the good stuff.
But be aware of the risks.
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
It really has.
AI is already changing how we connect.
And it's only going to get stronger.
But the future isn't set in stone.
We're creating it with every choice we make.
That's a powerful thought.
It is. So as you keep learning about this stuff,
Yeah.
stay curious.
Stay informed.
And most importantly,
What's that?
stay connected.
Good advice.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it's made you think.
And maybe even spark some good conversations.
Until next time,
Yeah.
keep exploring.
And keep questioning.